Good evening. Welcome back to Be Rich. Today I wanted to discuss inflation because the Reserve Bank governor said inflation in India is not very high and he is expecting it to peak this quarter and continue to decline. But I am more concerned about what is happening in US and Europe. Global inflation is extremely high in both US and Europe. In Europe, now after that UK has exited the Eurozone, we can separate it as three: US, Europe, and UK. UK never signed up to be part of the common currency and therefore has retained British pound as its currency and therefore is not in the control of the European Central Bank, and the UK Bank of England has an important role to play. So, today we are going to discuss the three different expectations of inflations in US, Europe, and UK. The global factors for inflation are all the same. There is a supply chain issue, there is a production bottleneck, and therefore the production and delivery of goods and services has suffered. And since there is a contraction in goods and services, more money and money is chasing them, the prices have increased. This is why Powell and also the ECB president initially said that this is a transitionary inflation and global factors will play out. And as supply chains ease out, automatically things will change and inflation will come down. And they were not too bothered about it. But in recently, I saw a video in Economist. The Economist showed a same laptop in Japan and US. In Japan, in 1 year, the price of the laptop had declined by 1.5%, whereas the same laptop was costing 8% more in America. What it clearly showed was demand in America was far higher than demand in Japan. If Japan and America are two extremes, Europe and UK lie in between. So the problem was there was a supply chain issue, and once the supply chain issue got resolved in Japan, the prices stabilized. Europe is having elevated inflation, but not at the level at which US and UK have. Their core inflation is higher, and primarily because Germany and France are dependent upon receiving gas from pipelines in Russia. And the current tension between Ukraine and Russia has made gas very expensive. And that is why one of the fuel prices have gone up. And because the winter was particularly severe in Europe and gas consumption went up. Going forward, the it's clear that the global supply chain is easing and production is also ramping up and shortages will ease, and therefore prices can be expected to moderate. But US and UK are a different kettle of fish. In the United Kingdom, there is a problem in labor shortage. If you remember, about 6 weeks back, there was a huge shortage of labor in UK. Especially, there was a problem in shortage of drivers of long haul trucks. This is because the EU visas had been turned down and cheap labor from Eastern Europe could not work in England anymore. Therefore, there was shortage of qualified drivers to drive fuel trucks, and that the fuel had not reached petrol stations and gas stations, and there was a huge scarcity. Also, shopping giants had warned since they don't have enough drivers, they will not be able to supply and restock all retail points. This meant a rise in prices in retail. The Boris Johnson government reacted to say that they would give temporary visas and people could come and work for short periods of time. Unfortunately, not many took the offer and labor shortages in England continued. In case of United States, what has happened is both Donald Trump and Joe Biden were generous in giving stimuluses. Not only did the central bank print more money, the US federal government gave three stimulus checks. This meant post pandemic, lot of middle class and lower middle class people had lot of spare cash to spend, and they rushed out to buy goods as soon as the pandemic lifted. This caused a rise in demand. Also, the amount of people who were willing to work was not near the full pandemic level. This meant that service jobs in restaurants and retail places, plus warehouses like Amazon, were in short supply, and labor had to be paid more, and labor rates have gone up very high. Also, there has been, as Larry Summers has pointed out, a big rise in wages. In fact, wage inflation in the United States is currently growing at 5.75 to 6%. This means that the inflation that was originally caused by supply side problems has now moved to wages, and people's wage expectations have gone up. So, unless people are paid more, they are not willing to work. That means inflationary expectations have started to increase. Also, there has been a huge rise in prices of real estate. In fact, a lot of people in the United States told me they are not able to buy houses because somebody outbids them in the last minute. This also has meant that rental prices have gone up. When you have rental prices, housing prices, salaries going up, it is very clear that inflationary expectations also tend to go up. And that is what is happening. And since the economy is largely psychology, this inflationary expectation is feeding into itself and prices are rising rapidly. Now, in rest of Europe, this is not true. So, labor is not fully employed and wage rise price hikes are not at the level at the same at UK or US. Therefore, you will have different policies from the three governments and the central banks. I expect US to raise rates 0.25 every time till it reaches 2.5% in an effort to crush inflation. UK will also raise from its 0.25 today to nearly 2% to cut inflation. Europe may need not have to increase interest rates so high to cut inflation because all they had to do was to bring rates to zero and increase rates once or twice so that inflation will be controlled. So, you are going to have different policy reactions from three central bank governors in three different places. Thank you for watching. Be rich. If you like this video, kindly share it with your friends and relatives. If you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe to this channel. Please don't forget to turn on the bell notification, because if you do not turn on the bell notification, you will not get your notification every time we put out a video. Thank you for watching. Be rich. It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written two books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.